think this up. Oh. Alrighty. This is like my first time doing a video like this, so I mean if you're listening, gonna have to like bear that in mind. And I'll probably get better at these as time goes on. But I just wanted to, give my thoughts on, episode 1 and 2, Falcon Winter Soldier. I wanted to wait till I had like my my good mic to do so. Uh and so far with just the first two episodes, I really enjoy it so far. And there's some aspects that like, I'm hoping that they fulfill um, from an ideological point of view. Um but I'll get started with how I feel they're treating the characters so far in each episode. And so we'll start off with Falcon in episode 1. And I really enjoyed how they treated the character and how they um, showed how he interacts with his family, his sister, and what's it like for him whenever he's just like a citizen. And you go through like the interactions with him and his sister. He doesn't want to get rid of the boat, but she's not off like doing stuff like him, so she has to like live with all the family business stuff that that they had. And she's ready to let go, and Falcon's not. And they did a pretty good job of highlighting you know racism, class issues with the in the bank scene. And that's something that a lot of people struggle with in America, not being able to get a loan um, for reasons they can't really control. um, and then we'll move on to Bucky, and you see him dealing with his PTSD, depression. And he's made friends, but then he comes to the realization that he killed his friend's son. And you know he wants to do better. And shit, yeah, yeah, you have this whole like good interaction with him and his neighbor. And you know his neighbor sets him up with a date. Doesn't work out, or maybe it will. Maybe they'll get together again, but probably not. And then one of the, I guess, like the big issues that I've talked to people about is with the Flag Smashers. And while I'm not fully, I'm not convinced that they're bad, especially with the episode 2. But we didn't know this in episode 1, so the way they portrayed them in episode 1, they portrayed them violent. Uh, they're robbing a bank, etc. They don't really give you too much substance. They just tell you that, yeah, they're these bad dudes. They're really strong. Uh, but they have uh, they're not necessarily um, well, they say that they believe in a world without borders, which you know a lot of people could see why they'd be into that. And I see like I see the appeal in a world without borders. You know, I'm a leftist, so that's what that was like. The way they portrayed them in episode one was kind of a red flag to that, in my opinion. But you know, I'm a big Marvel fan. I know Marvel's like pretty, you know, long history of you know, touching social issues, and you know, for the most part, they've done a pretty good job. You know, not all the time, but all throughout the comics, they've used they've used their um, well, all throughout Marvel history, they've used their comics to highlight social issues, etc. And whenever the original Flag Smashers came out, it was in a time of where it was in a time where nationalism was, you know, a very popular thing, and you know we kind of saw a little bit of that under Trump, and I don't think that they're going this way uh, with the Flag Smashers. To me, it seems that they want you to think that they're bad at the beginning, um, so they can flip it that yeah, these are actually freedom fighters. They're trying to help people, and you know they're just trying to survive. But just going off of the episode one portrayal, um, not so good, but it gets better. And then we have uh, you know, the big reveal. We have John Walker, Captain America, and you know the internet immediately went to fire and talking about like how he has such a punchable face, etc. And you know, it's hard to disagree with that. If you're familiar with the comics at all, John Walker is not a very nice dude. Um, and but with this, they do a pretty good job of you know showing that you're not supposed to like him just with like the look that he has on his face. You're just kind of supposed to be annoyed by him. But John Walker, you know, both in the comics and in this, they start him off portraying him in a way that makes it seem like, yeah, he's a good guy. And that's understandable. You know, people don't always start off bad. And to put a pin on this episode, I'd give it about like a 7 out of 10. It was a good, you know, first episode. They showed you where exactly these characters are at in their life. You know, Bucky, the Winter Soldier, and well, you see a little bit of John Walker, but it was you know more so about um, catching up with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But without any further ado, let's move on to episode two. And with this, it starts off with a pep rally of sorts. You got you got a band, and John Walker runs out, and you know it's pretty good music. It made me want to dance whenever I listened to it. But they do this whole propaganda thing, um, you know, showing him as you know Captain America, the Star Spangled Man with a plan, and all that. And you know he doesn't seem like a bad dude, to be honest. But you know if you know anything about the comics, you know that's only a temporary thing. And then, you know, after both of them both Sam and Bucky, they see the pep rally thing on TV. They see the unveiling of the new Captain America. They're both upset about it, and um, Bucky, he's pissed off that Sam didn't take up the mantle. And, Sam has his reasons, and they're understandable reasons, I think. But they decide to focus on these, the Flag Smashers. Worry about other stuff. And that's where we meet her for the first time. And this is basically the face of like it's like you don't understand how much you've underestimated me at this point. Because she just yeets Bucky out of the truck right after this. It's a very, very good scene. And of course, of course, John Walker and his sidekick, Battlestar, join in, and they don't really help. Um, you know, they get their asses kicked too. Uh, but it was a very good scene showing, how strong like these super soldiers are, and but later on, like they show, more personal interactions between the Flag Smashers, and yeah, they're just people, just looking out for each other, trying to survive. Um, they've been abandoned by the government and everything. They The way they explain it is whenever everybody came back from the blip, the Flag Smashers were, well, not the Flag Smashers, but specifically, but a lot of people um, were basically, forced out of their homes and stuff to make room for the people that came back. And that's why they formed the Flag Smashers, is to help, people that are forgotten, And, it's hard to not respect that, I think. Let's move on. We have this scene. Hold up. Let me do that. And we have this scene where you have them interacting together. And, John Walker, he's just trying to be a bro for the most part, but he has ulterior motives. Because, he knows he'll look better with Sam and Bucky by his side. And it seems Bucky gets a little ticked off at how, like, cheesy the Battlestar name is. Or it seems like kind of like pro-war, etc. But things don't go well here, and both Sam and Bucky leave. It's a pretty good interaction between them. And after this, we meet Isaiah Bradley, and this is something that I had heard about, but I didn't think that they'd have it this early in the show. And it was really cool that they added this bit of lore in, the Isaiah Bradley character, because he was actually like he took up the mantle of Captain America, and uh, he was captured, but he completed his mission. And whenever he was freed, they put him in jail for 20 years for treason for taking up the mantle of Captain America. So it just kind of shows you the treatment that a black person who decided to be Captain America would get. Oh, and you see his nephew, which he becomes Patriot. Or it's his grandson, not his nephew, I think. We have like this funny. Oh wait, I forgot about something. And like right after they meet Isaiah Bradley, you have Sam and Bucky arguing in the street, and they get confronted by cops, and like the the cops are like confronting Sam because he's black, and they don't back off until they realize he's famous. He's one of the Avengers, and it's just another depiction of like how people of color are treated in America by the police. It's Marvel doing stuff like this is why I have hopes that their portrayal of the Flag Smashers is not going to end up being overall bad. But yeah, this happens. Turns out, uh, well, they stop harassing Sam, but then they're like, oh, uh, Bucky has a Bucky has a warrant out for his arrest. So they arrest Bucky. They go back to the police station, and um, he gets bailed out by John Walker. But Bucky's therapist uh, makes them have a like emergency session before he leaves. That's where we get this scene where she's kind of like forcing them to like open up to one each other, to one another, which is gonna happen. They're probably gonna be really good friends by the end of the series, the way it seems to be, or at least really good partners as far as like being a superhero goes. But they get locked in, and there's uh speculation over whether she might be like Hydra or something, but I doubt it. I just don't get that vibe from her. She just seems like a military person. But they both get pissed off and uh yell at each other and leave. And um I didn't get the picture with John Walker at the end, but they go and meet John Walker, and they're like, and when he's like, oh yeah, I got you out, I did y'all a solid, you should help me out, basically. And they're like, nah, we don't have like the same roles of engagement, etc. It wouldn't make sense for us to work together. And then this pisses off John Walker, and he's like, stay out of my way, which is, I guess, our first uh kind of like serious, kind of sinister look at John Walker. And then uh they're trying to figure out the connection to the Flag Smashers, how they got the super soldier serum. Bucky thinks that they're Hydra. They're not Hydra. Um, but they say they're gonna go meet Zemo. We get this picture of Zemo. Oh, and another thing I forgot is after the scene where the Flag Smashers end up having to run from the power broker. And that's, where I think that John Walker is likely going to get his powers from, and Battlestar, because both of them in the comics get their abilities from the Power Broker. But overall, I like this episode a lot better than episode one. Um, Especially all the interactions between Sam and Bucky. You had them talking about Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit uh, for a little bit, arguing over wizards and warlocks or sorcerers, etc. I'd give this one like a 9 out of 10 as far as the quality of the episode and the pacing. But um, as I'm making this video right now, um, the next episode will happen in an hour. That's why I wanted to get these out of the way so I could focus on that one. Uh, but hopefully, somebody values my opinion out there, and I'll talk to y'all later. I'm gonna get some food ready and get ready to watch this episode here in a bit. Talk to y'all later.